This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today, winter is in full swing, and we're ready to have the most outdoor fun. Joining me to talk about all things Winter Wonderland, action, and fun to be had is Destination Madison's content manager, Ashley Petty. Ashley, welcome to the pod.
Hi, thanks for having me. Long-time listener, first-time guest. I'm sure everyone says that, but
they don't, but some of them do. That's exciting to hear. Well, I mean, it's like longtime reader of Destination Madison. You really make the best list. And so we know who to turn to about what should we be doing outdoors? We know we want to be getting outdoors. Where should we go? So thanks for taking the time. And just to heat things up right off the bat, what's the wildest or most unexpected way you've seen people getting out and playing in Madison's winter?
I think almost every winter I'm kind of shocked. I mean, once the ice shanties start popping up on the bay, even though you see it every year, you're kind of like, whoa, there's a lot of huts out there, especially in the early winter when the rest of the lake is not frozen, but the bay is. To me, that's not enough insurance, but they know what they're doing and they're having a great time. So I think that's always kind of a whoa moment. But then I think everything that happens at Frozen Assets and Winter Carnival is always so fun to see because they just take kind of anything out on that lake and do it.
They truly do. They're carnival-minded, artsy-minded. And then the ice kiting is really wild, people getting out. And we're going to talk about that. I like your first choice, which is those ice shanties coming out. Hey, it's putting me on the edge. I'm living on the edge just watching them. I'm like, you go. And that's a good reminder right up top to check the ice levels and always be safe. Do not just guess. Do your research. I'll say I just watched a video of, this is about ice, but not the ice on the lakes, but a southerner who moved to our Midwest who tried to pull an icicle down from her roof. And she learned
this.
You saw it too?
Yes.
And she was the whole shelf of ice fell off and the power of it knocked her back. It's
yes.
You gotta learn the hard way sometimes.
I love the two angles of it. You see her going up to hit it, and then the ring camera or whatever is in the garage is and you just see the chaos of it. But my heart was immediately beating. The approach was just no.
We know what's coming. We all tried it when we were little and just no. But there are a ton of safe ways and also relatively safe ways to have fun in winter.
Yes, totally.
Before we dig into the list, because we've got a great list of classics, I do want to say that I feel I can declare Madison a 4-season city, meaning I think you can enjoy Madison just as much in the winter as in the summer. What do you think?
I totally agree with that. I think that how the city is built on its own, being around all the lakes and the downtown, being on the isthmus and all of that, it's beautiful, even in the seasons that maybe are not as beautiful necessarily. So that spring transition, that can be a little gray and mushy. It's hard to, even with all that going on, it's hard to deny that the Capitol and then the Monona Terrace and the water when you're driving in on John Nolan isn't stunning. And just, I think accessibility to being outside also, even if the weather isn't what you necessarily prefer, there are options. And I think when people give it a try to kind of go out a little bit more in winter or in those times that maybe have even in summer when it's hotter than you expect, I think once you get out there, it's hard to still not appreciate it and not have a good time, even if it's maybe not your ideal set of circumstances, because the city's just so beautiful and there's just so many spaces. Places like Tenny Park, you can't be upset, I think, being there, and the city kind of has that because it's so thoughtfully built and it's always alive, I think is a big part of it too. Again, even if the weather is not your cup of tea, because our community is so outdoors and active and alive, I think that's infectious, even if it's gray or frigid or whatnot.
I so agree. Tenny Park is magical all year round. That is a perfect place to pick. And let's just start with ice skating, because I've been seeing folks ice skating on the lakes and ponds at night, and I feel jealous. And it's at night because everything after work is at night. But I'm like, oh, yes. Look at people being artsy out on the lake and just living their best life. So we've obviously got great outdoor skating opportunities all winter, including 19 free locations that are operated by the city's park department. Can you talk about some of those standout ice skating rinks? And if you want to start with Tenny, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, Tenny, I think really is the standout one. There's that center, which gives you kind of like that a little place to sit. Some of the parks have maybe a little bit more informal, kind of like frozen over pond, but I think Tenny Park has like the great infrastructure, and it is beautiful, and it is like in a great location, kind of in the middle of everything. I think the pond can feel so much more approachable than like the lake, which some people do skate on, which is really great and cool, but that can be intimidating. I mean, for myself included, is scary.
I was intimidated. I was like, you go, Michelle Kwan, or like, who are you? Who are these divas?
Yes. Do you know Angelina Wang, I think is her name? I believe it's Huang. She went to UW and was, I think, connected to Olympic skating in some way and does these like wild ice videos. She'll go out with like OVJ and these people and create just the most magical videos on the ice. She makes it look easy and effortless, and it is nothing of the sort. And so, yeah, I think Tenny Park really is that great place. It also has like the hockey and the ice skating, which is kind of fun, like kind of choose your own adventure kind of place. If you're wanting to ice skate, you don't have to fight with the ice hockey players to like for the same kind of space.
They have different separate areas for that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen people out there playing, Mighty Ducks ice hockey. That's also super fun. So we've got Tenny Park. I know also I've gone ice skating at the Edgewater, which isn't run by the city, but it's a cute little, even more like controlled. If you want to look out at the lake and you're like, I'm kind of on the lake, that's a spot, and have hot chocolate and all of that. And they had like blue plastic pieces that you can hold on to and feel, even if you're a little kid to an adult or whoever needs it, I felt very safe.
Yes, that's a great feeling. They do everything kind of the Edgewater does is so experiential based, and they really know how to like do it big and do it right. I think no matter what programming they do, they really think of kind of the comprehensive visitor and local experience. Like whoever is there, I think in doing whatever you do at the Edgewater, it's going to feel elevated, but still very approachable, which is really Madison kind of in a nutshell, right? Like we do things well, but we want everyone to be able to do it in the ideal circumstance.
Yeah, and if you have the opportunity, why not? Like Dolly Parton Christmas, like let's just have it all.
Yes.
So thank you to the Edgewater. So the city has their 19 free locations. I also have down Vilas Park by the zoo is a very popular spot.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Totally.
And I understand that there are cheap rentals available at many of those sites. But that said, do you think ice skates are a Madison or Wisconsin staple? Should we all have a pair, or is it just as easy to rent?
I'd be pretty hypocritical to say that, given that I do not own ice skates, and to say everyone should have one, that would feel bad of me to say, because I have not yet committed to such an endeavor. But I think when it's easy to do like that, also outdoor UW, you can get ice skates for. I believe you have to keep it at Lake Mendota, like that area right by outdoor UW. And you don't have to be a student to rent anything from outdoor UW. We'll probably bring that up a couple times throughout this conversation because they're a really wonderful resource. I've rented things for them throughout the summer. And what a great location. Anytime you get to go to the terrace area is, I think, a nice time.
That's a super useful tip. Outdoor UW. UW Outdoors?
I think it's outdoor UW. Some people still call it Hoofers, even though I think that's technically inaccurate. Like Hoofers is its own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
The old school folks will call it Hoofers. I feel like ice skating is kind of like the Nina Garten method. That's like, oh, well, if you can't make it yourself, like store-bought is fine. It's like, if you don't own them, like go ahead and rent them. It's just the same.
There you go. That's the energy. And let's slide into the next activity, which will be sledding, a childhood classic. And I know people are out sledding. I've seen a lot of joy with that, especially during our first big snow of the year. So many kids and families had thrills outdoors. Can you tell me about some of Madison's best sledding hills?
So unfortunately, I wasn't born here, so I don't know the childhood nostalgia piece of it. But those who I have spoken to, people who have kids or people who grew up here, Elver Park is like it's the big one. It seems like that. Like she's kind of that girl, she's a little bit of the star. She's the Beyonce of the group. That hill is like really huge and really steep. So it's fun. But then I know the hill over at Olbert Park.
Yeah, that one is a super popular hill. I know that for sure. And I know the city of Madison, and we'll link to this, has a list of city parks that are especially good for sledding. I know Aldo Leopold Park is a popular one, which is an 11-acre park south of the Beltline between Fish Hatch and Seminole Highway. So that's a popular one. There's Arbor Hills Park, Berkeley Park on the north side. Bradley Park is located in Shorewood Hills. Like, I know there are lots of different areas, and I'll even say maybe just like check out what parks are nearby, because I said this to you before we hopped on, but I was like, I saw a crazy sledding hill and it had at least 200 people, and I remember trying to remember the name of the park, and it's not even on this list. I don't think it's on this list. So there's probably some good sledding near you. But yeah, those are some great places to start. And also, like, I don't think you're ever too old for sledding unless you're like, no. Yes, my back. No, but
I agree. I totally agree. It's something I feel like every winter I'm like, I gotta get out there and sled again. That is like so much fun. And then I don't, but I should.
Yeah, the joy of like suiting up, like getting snow pants on. Like, I just need to go get a saucer. That's all you need. And yes, maybe I will be bruised afterwards, but maybe I can handle it. But I know that's not for everyone. But for me, I do feel like the spirit is still there. We started the conversation talking about the sea shanties, our lake shanties. Can we talk about ice anglers out there, ice fishing?
Let's talk about them.
And what are the opportunities to try ice fishing if you're a novice?
Yes, there are. Wisconsin Union within Outdoor UW does offer ice fishing classes and ice fishing workshops. They do a lot of really great outdoor programming. I believe they do outdoor like candlelit or snowy hikes. They're a really great resource for really any of these like kind of winter outdoor activities and summer and all year long to really teach you, which, shocker, like a university offers teaching resources, but it's like beyond just for students. And so I really can't suggest them enough as a really good resource for anything you're really trying to dive into, whether that's ice fishing or cross-country skiing or kind of whatever you're looking to learn.
Yeah, it's a part of that Wisconsin idea, like really using the UW's resources to the benefit of all, which we're so lucky to be here in Madison. So it's a great one to point out. I also want to point out that Pat Hasberg, the owner of DNS Bait, Tackle, and Fly Shop, was on the show a few years ago. They do a weekly fishing report, which has been done for like decades. It's really useful for folks who want to know like what kind of fish are biting where. And they also, I think, do like an ice guide, like areas of ice, like how far it's frozen over, and trying to keep you up to date on all the details. So that's really fun. And if folks want to listen to that conversation, go back. We titled it An Angler's Guide to Ice Fishing in Madison. We got a really big snow this year, and I know I went out tromping, and the first thing that came to mind was, gosh, I wish I had snowshoes. I want to go snowshoeing. I know that's something that you've written about, Ashley. Where are places that you'd recommend folks go snowshoeing, and how to do it?
Yes. So I think snowshoeing is something that took me a while to wrap my head around, because it sounds like something that's so much more official than it is, right? Like it's really just the piece of equipment, and then it's your natural ability, if you are lucky to have it, to walk, right? But I think I used to think it was like a special technique. But once you kind of have those snowshoes, the limits are endless.
The limit does not exist.
Exactly. Madison parks, you can snowshoe, I believe, in all of them. Again, it's really just kind of walking with special shoes on. I had this like existential thing somewhere in college where I was like, what is the difference between walking and hiking, and where's the break line between it? And there really isn't. I think it's just like whatever you want to call it. Snowshoeing's kind of the same thing, or winter hiking. If you don't have your own snowshoes, again, rented is fine. Outdoor UW does do snowshoe rentals, and I believe the city of Madison as well, Madison Parks.
Yeah, I saw there are rentals at Door Creek, Elver Park, and Vilas Parks. So
totally.
I have not snapped snowshoes onto my feet, or snapped snowshoes for that matter, the way I said it. But I feel like maybe it's the state of mind that I'm going out snowshoeing and I'm going to be peaceful, relaxing. And also, I imagine it helps distribute your weight out. So maybe you don't go so deep into the snow. That's just my guess. I haven't been, so people could be like, no, Bianca, you're wrong. But
that is like, my understanding, yes.
Yeah, kind of like, swimming. I'm like, oh, I'm a little lighter here. It's like, you're still the same weight, but snow also helps distribute your weight. Anyway, I love the sound and the crunch Ascension. I feel like it's just a vibe. Cherokee Marsh South, Door Creek Park, and Elver Park all have designated snowshoeing trails that folks can check out. And you mentioned it earlier, and it's in a similar spirit, but can we talk about cross-country skiing, which I've done in the smallest of ways?
How is it small?
It was somewhere up north in Wisconsin, and it was mostly a tubing place, but then they had like a little area to try cross-country skiing. And by little area, I mean like smaller than half of a medium-sized parking lot. I don't even know. Like, it was just like put skis on and you can see what it feels like. So I don't really know that I've had the full experience, and I've been thinking about it more and more. So where are the opportunities for Madison folks to try cross-country skiing? Is it different than the snowshoeing areas? Maybe it's the same places and those are the peak.
There are some more definitely defined spaces. So the outdoor center in Middleton has a significant number of miles of trails, and it is built really for that purpose. And I do believe they have kind of some different areas where there's different difficulties or whatnot. So that's a good place, whether you're seasoned or if you really want to start in like a controlled area, like that, they made it for that specific purpose. But then it is similar that like you can do in a lot of places. I know that people say like a really Madison thing is to do it on the lakes when they're frozen. Like people really enjoy that.
Interesting.
Yes. I don't understand like all of the technicalities or if there's anything different you have to do to prep, because I am not like an avid cross-country skier myself. But I have heard glowing reviews of doing that. I think it's just the unique experience of it. Like anything you do on those lakes is just like, holy smokes, this is cool,
Right. Totally.
Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, I think the UW Arboretum, another place in Madison, similar to Tenney Park, that is just like, I don't know, iconic, and you love it. And we have more than 270 parks in the city. You never have a shortage of that. But the Arboretum in the winter, that is a place I've probably done my own, like most like winter hiking, and it's just beautiful. It's like every time you go there in every different season, it feels magical in its own sense, and I kind of feel like I'm going to a different place every time.
I so agree. It's truly one of the treasures of living in Madison. So that makes perfect sense. And like you said, Madison has so many parks, hundreds. And Dane County has even more. Some great ones to shout out, like Indian Lake County Park, Camrock County Park, McCarthy Youth and Conservation County Park, Token Creek, and the William G. Lunny Lake Farm Park. So folks can, venture out across the county for a good time too. I have a little note that says, stay off the tracks if you're not on skis.
Yes, that's probably a good one.
So one thing that I've always wanted to try, and once again have tried in a very small capacity, is snowboarding. And by small capacity, I mean down a little hill in my friend's yard. But where are the sort of ski resorts or areas folks can get into some downhill skiing and snowboarding?
Yeah, I think Tyrol Basin in Mount Horeb is the big one that really comes to mind in Dane County. It's something that we don't necessarily focus a ton on with Destination Madison, just because like it's not really like the thing that Madison is the most forward in. Like if you are a skier and you want to ski real bad, Madison's is probably not the city you're going to angle for. We're not going to pretend like we don't, but I do know Tyrol Basin is a really popular spot, and they do some really fun things year round. I think they do the big like haunted house, their haunted acres around Halloween time, and then you get to go and see it in kind of its intended use in the wintertime.
So I can speak to Cascade Mountain, which again, I've been tubing at. That one's in Portage. It's a little farther out. And then also Alpine Valley and Elkhorn. I know Tyrol Basin, we had a Middleton high schooler. Estella Hastrick was the Middleton high schooler that was actually made it into the Olympics, which was really exciting. Of course, it was the Youth Olympics, but no less of a feat. And I remember her talking about Tyrol Basin for sure. Something I have seen that I think is also like some badassery is folks on bikes in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a fair amount of that. Like, what a fun way to explore the city with fat tire biking.
Mm-hmm.
And even people on the lake. So do you know much about that world here in Madison and like what the mechanics are there and how folks can try that out?
I know Machinery Row does rentals, which they're great for, I think, any person trying to bike in in whatever capacity in Madison. Obviously, we have B-Cycle when it's warm out, which is a great like way to enjoy biking if you don't have a bike or if you're visiting town. But Machinery Row really has some more expanded offerings, and they're great. Again, a great location right there, right on the lake and right in the downtown to Near East Side kind of transition. I wrote this blog and I do research and I know a lot of things, but I am not the most experienced kind of in any of this way. And so I feel badly if you're looking for someone who's really out there in getting on these in these expeditions, because I'm researched but not as experienced, we'll say.
That's totally fine. The journalist doesn't need to know how to high jump and get into the Olympics. You're watching it. You're clocking it. You're finding the locations.
Yes, but exactly. Thank you. Oh, I feel seen.
Yeah.
But no, the fat tire biking, it is something that is amazing to see, even if you are kind of spectating it like on the lake or wherever it is. And something that when we're out talking to people who haven't been to Madison, we'll kind of say, especially when winter gets brought up, because that's such like a scary thing to people if they don't experience winter in the same way. We'll say like, Madison's known to like clear the bike paths before the roads sometimes in the snow because people are really using their bikes so often, and like at the forefront of what our community has its priorities on is biking, whether it is like in any different kind of season. And I think the concept of people biking in the winter is something that if you don't experience winter and if you're not in a very like bike friendly city, is just like mind boggling. And we do it. Madisonians are out there. It's really cool to see people doing the fat tire bikes. And we have some like really beautiful pictures that our team has taken with people out on the lake. It is just like, again, it's just something you see and it feels so deeply Madison,
Yeah, and you stated it at the top. What's the wildest thing you see, which was the winter festivals, like the Frozen Assets and the stuff that happens over on Lake Mendota by UW. I've seen extreme biking, sports that they throw, which just seems absolutely insane. We're talking about like the ice kite. So folks who, they throw skis on or a snowboard and they use a kite and they go across the lake. Like that is part of the fun. It's like you don't actually have to do those extreme sports to watch them and admire, but then there are all of the, the range, and we've talked about that. I do want to ask, before folks head outdoors, do you have an essential outdoor wear? Do you have a top, like, must-have winter accessory or piece of clothing? Like, any advice there?
This is going to sound so goofy, but in my adult years, in my older reformed years, I'm 30. I am not that, all that wise, but I have really learned to appreciate the essential nature of a scarf. I think that growing up as a millennial, scarves were a fashion piece for so long, and like the skinny scarf and the infinity scarf, and they were really just for an aesthetic. And I always thought like, oh, you don't really need this for warmth, but wow, you really put that scarf on, you tuck that in right in your coat the way that it was really intended to be. It's really life-changing. That it feels silly, but like you can really get your ears in there. You can get you capture the cold that comes in through the gaps from the top and the bottom and all of that. I am so pro scarf, and this is my crusade currently. I also know that the hooded scarf is very in right now. This is not a fashion I have embraced at this venture, but to mention my best friend again, she's really into them. She sent me a link. She's like, should I buy this? I see they're really fashionable and like for winter. And it was like $100 hooded scarf. I said, you will not do that. I will make you one. And so I crocheted her a couple for Christmas.
So Madison.
It's so Madison. Yes. But I just say like a nice sturdy scarf, I think really goes the extra mile.
I think that that's a critical one. And I absolutely had the exact same thing down, which is just a huge fluffy scarf that feels like a blanket, but it is so functional. And something I recently saw with folks who have hoods that jacket hoods that have fur on them, that's actually fashion, and that you're supposed to tuck the fur in to capture. So don't leave it out. I had those my whole childhood because I thought they were so cool. Yes. Curl. But you're supposed to curl that warm, fuzzy part inside. So if I'm seeing you with that, that's fashion and that's not keeping you warm. And the other thing is like layering, right? Yes. Like layering. I also get caught, this might just be me, like check your gaps. Like I all the time will have like a gap between my socks socks in my pants. If I'm like out doing something active, I'm like, I was not wearing long enough socks. You really make sure that you don't have any areas for wind damage, and double check yourself before you wreck yourself. Ashley, this has been so fun. Before I let you go, what are you most excited to do outdoors this winter in Madison?
This is, broken record thing, but I can't wait to get out to Tenny Park and see it in the wintertime. It really is like my favorite place in the city. I think to have somewhere that feels so weirdly magical, but also like approachable, just like right in the heart of places is so cool. I could just walk in the same path like 100 times over and over. It feels so nice. It feels so relaxing. And I think it is really stunning all seasons. But winter, I don't know, it feels like a little postcard. It feels like a storybook. So I'm excited to do some winter walking around Tenny Park, or really any of the 270 plus parks in the city. I should probably diversify my park portfolio. I kind of fall back on the same ones all the time. But just being out there. Crisp air does good for the mind, the body, and the spirit. It can really kind of like wake you up, make you feel alive at a time where maybe we don't feel quite as alive in the dark and cold. So I'm just excited to embrace it for what it is and not try to make the season something that it's not.
Oh, drop in solid bars at the end of this conversation. And with Tenny Park, I wouldn't be half surprised if Tenny Park was like actually just the inside of a snow globe in some like larger universe
Yes.
thing. And like that's the romantic destination, because it is bizarrely romantic in the romantic sense, the larger, beautiful friends holding hands, all of the things. Like it's got it all. So that is a beautiful place to end. And y'all get your crisp air. Ashley, this was really fun and great to like get some recommendations out for folks. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. This has been such a great time.
That's Ashley Petty, content manager at Destination Madison. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with someone who loves winter or someone who wants to love winter? It's okay. All right, and really do share this out. Help spread the word about CityCast Madison and all the fun we have and all the information we share. It really helps. All righty, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and thanks for listening.